It's great to see you guys. Oh, wow, this is really something. You guys know how it works. You disagree, you can go to the line. We'll have a great conversation here. And go Vols, everybody. Go Vols, right? All right, yes, sir.
So, as a Christian, how do you justify campaigning for someone who is found civilly liable for sexual abuse?
Well, first of all, we as conservatives believe that that was like a Moscow show trial. It made no sense. How much about the trial do you know?
I've read some of the witness transcripts.
Yeah. So the main accuser is a woman by the name of
Jean Carroll.
Yeah, exactly. And she said the following: "A rape is sexy." She said that on air, right? She couldn't remember the time, the date, or the year that the incident happened. And even Anderson Cooper said this is not a credible witness that should be taken seriously. But let's pretend you're right, because I don't want to get too far into the details. But let's pretend that President Trump was guilty of sexual abuse. Is there any example of somebody in the Bible that was guilty of doing something bad that still was after God's own heart? This is the Bible Belt, but yes, the question is for you.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, well, David would be the most obvious. So how much do you know about the example of David and Bathsheba? Probably not a lot, right? So David one day woke up and he was in charge of the Israeli army. I believe it was Uriah, if I'm drawing from memory correctly, right? And Uriah was like the head infantry commander. Uriah had a wife, very beautiful, by the name of Bathsheba. Bathsheba woke up one day and was very provocatively showering for all to see. And David lustfully said, "I want that." In fact, not only did he say, did he want that, he then commissioned Uriah to the front lines of a battle to then basically get Uriah killed. Basically saying, "I'm going to kill your husband so that I could be with Bathsheba." He does that, he dies, he then weeps terribly, and God even draws him closer to him in this very, very difficult, mysterious story. A second example, of course, would be Samson. Samson is found in the book of Hebrews in the Hall of Faith. Samson lived such a colorful life that God came to him when he was in a prostitute's bed. But God called Samson for a purpose greater than his and used the jaw of a donkey to go kill, thousands of Philistines. What I'm getting at is we are all sinners that fall short of the glory of God, and God can use imperfect vessels for righteous and good causes, of which I think he used Donald Trump to help save the country.
Okay. So you said that, so you think the court case was a witch hunt?
Yes, I think that case was absolutely a witch hunt. And
were the jurors, specifically the ones who found him liable, were they part of that?
So it's very important that this was a civil case, not a criminal case. This never reached the threshold where any criminal prosecutor wanted to bring this because they thought the evidence was so shoddy. But yes, the jurors got this wrong because they were all suffering from Trump derangement syndrome.
Really?
This was a New York City-based jury, and of course
who picked the jury?
They were New York City-based.
Well, yeah, but who picked the jury?
Well,
Trump's lawyer.
Well, no, that's not true. They have input on the jury selection. But they get 3 strikes. Those strikes were used. The judge was hardly fair. Again, I'm happy to go into all the individual minutes, but let's use reason. Can I be a little provocative on this for a second, guys? Okay. And I'm gonna try to prove you wrong using a little provocation, and I'm gonna be politically incorrect. Is that okay? All right. Trigger warning. Okay. So let me understand this. Here is the world's wealthiest man. One of the world's wealthiest men, worth like $10 billion. He's got a show on the NBC Apprentice. He's literally married to a supermodel. He can have any woman on the world. And I'm supposed to believe at 2 p.m. in a Tiffany's store, he walks in and rapes Jean Carroll, who is not exactly a supermodel, and risks his entire fortune, of which there is no accusation for 20 years, but he pops up and runs for the president, and all of a sudden she says, "This guy raped me," even though I can't remember the day, the month, the year, 2 p.m. in a department store at Tiffany's while he was at the height of his career. I'm sorry, that's complete rubbish and political nonsense.
Well, so there was a law in New York up until 2022, before 2022, or during 2022, there was a law passed called the Abuser, I can't remember the name, Protection Act or something like that, and it removed the statute of limitation, which was 1 year for civil cases for sexual abuse. So that's how she had to wait so long until 2022.
But she did not voice the accusation publicly till he ran for president, which she did in 2017, 2018. Second, the trial itself was financed by Democrat donors. Thirdly, this is such a superfluous conversation. He's president of the United States. He won. We won. The American people saw this and did not care. So maybe we could talk about issues that are happening right now, not some fake accusation from 30 years ago.
Okay.
Do you think we should be a Christian nation?
Well, of course. I mean,
Like officially?
officially, I mean, like through our documents. I am a believer in the U.S. Constitution. So, no, I do not believe in a theocracy. No.
Okay. Then I guess that's it.
Okay, so I'm a practicing Christian and I'm a conservative, and just for context, I come from a suburb of Chicago where Downers Grove, and then before that, Lake Forest.
My mom grew up there. Yeah.
Really?
Do you go to
I
Downers
went
Grove
to
North or
yeah,
South?
I went to high school there.
That's amazing. So did my mom. That's great.
Well, so it actually kind of took a turn. So a lot of people in my grade, they're like gender fluid, and people are renaming themselves to Bumblebee and Galaxy, and the neighboring school has litter boxes in the bathrooms. So I've found that in classes, I've had to kind of fake having liberal beliefs in order to obtain good grades. And even here, I'm in that philosophy class that the other girl was talking about, and our professor is telling us that Elon Musk is a neo-Nazi. And in my sociology class, we're learning that gender is a choice and it's a spectrum.
Here at University of Tennessee?
Yes, sir. Yes.
How many of you guys think this place is too liberal? Raise your hand. I think that this school should start to get defunded unless they start kicking out CRT and gender. Who agrees that we should defund a lot of this? You guys agree? Oh, they're going to love me after this. By the way, we have this great crowd. All these professors that are pushing this stuff, fire them all and defund this place and teach the basics. We're running out of time. Thank you.
So can I ask
Really
a quick
quick.
question? So I just was wondering, what's your advice for people who are Republicans but are having to kind of cover it in order to get a good grade and pass their classes?
So I'll answer that, then I really have to wrap. We're running late. Number one, you have a choice. You guys can lie and get a good grade. Fine. Number two, though, I think that hurts your soul. Number two, though, you guys can tell the truth, and then your grade will be put in jeopardy. But guess what? You'll become a stronger person of higher character, and you'll live a better life if you guys decided that. I think that's a better path. Thank you. Yes.
I am proud to be conservative. I'm proud to be an American, and I think we would agree on most things. But one thing that I'm here to dispute you on is
Israel?
Trump's executive order to overturn birthright citizenship.
Oh, okay.
Which you posted on X 2 months ago that the Supreme Court has never reviewed the 14th Amendment regarding birthright citizenship.
Not correctly yet.
Have you heard of Wong versus Kim Hark?
Yeah,
or
it's
Wong
a
versus
BS
America. What about
I'm drawing from a lot of memory on this,
though.
so I'm going to have to plead a little bit of
That's fine.
memory erosion.
I have a shallow understanding. But both of those cases ruled that regardless of national origin, the children of immigrants will become U.S. citizens. It's
not just the children of immigrants. It's not just that.
The exception for diplomats.
The children of visitors become U.S. citizens.
Right, and
so for example, a pregnant woman can leave China who's 8 months pregnant, get a 90-day visitor visa, and then her baby becomes a U.S. citizen.
How is it being implemented now? If you come here illegally, your children are what? What are they?
They become U.S. citizens.
And that's the Supreme Court precedent. So the executive order to overturn it is illegal.
No, it's very much legal. It's challenging the prior Supreme Court decision. But let's go back to my example. You can fly to China and literally just come here as a visitor, show up at a hospital, and they will give you a U.S. passport, and your kid becomes U.S. citizen. You understand we are one of the only countries in the industrialized world that has birthright citizenship.
And I'm proud to be that. We are a country of immigrants. See,
we're not. No. We're a country of settlers, not of immigrants.
Okay.
That's a big distinction. Let me tell you the difference. Settlers are people that build a new country that was barren. Immigrants come to a country already built. The people who built this country, they went west to an unconquered, barren country and built a new society. Immigrants helped enrich it. They helped grow it upon that. But the foundation of America were settlers, not immigrants. That is a talking point that is overused.
We have no
way too much.
unifying religion, no unifying race, no unifying national origin. But what we do share is that if you were born on the soil, you have an inherent birthright to the benefits of American citizenship. And
that's a huge mistake.
And that's a huge mistake. So you disagree with 200 years of precedent.
Yes.
Have you read what was discussed during the
founding
passage of the 14th
fathers, first
Amendment?
and foremost, never wanted all of a sudden a pregnant woman to be able to get on. They didn't have airplanes back then. Go across the ocean, and all of a sudden they become a U.S. citizen.
Those who drafted the 14th Amendment did.
Yeah, the 14th Amendment was in what year?
1866.
Yeah, exactly. Way past the founding era.
So you don't
Number
agree
two,
with
no, the 14th Amendment was largely applicable to free slaves.
I understand that was a purpose, but it has
14th
also been extended to those who come here
Exactly. No,
illegally
you're right. It has been wrongly extended. You know the 14th
by
Amendment?
the Supreme Court.
Exactly, and they got it wrong. Just like how they got Roe versus Wade wrong, and we got that repealed. The point being is the Supreme Court can get things wrong. The idea, it's very simple. It's that if you think you can just get on a Delta Airlines flight from Paris and all of a sudden your kid becomes a U.S. citizen, that devalues the meaning of what it is to be a citizen.
Should we hold the children who do not choose to come here accountable for their parents' actions? There are some countries that...
Well,
like,
if you're already a citizen, you're a citizen. We're not going to revoke what's
right, but
already
once
happened.
if it becomes overturned, do we want to create second-class citizens who aren't a citizen of another country?
Yes, they're citizens of another country. Go back to your own country.
Except if they come from India, they come here and a child is born. That child is not a citizen of
Correct.
India, nor would they be a citizen of here. Then you have
No, they
ghost
are a
citizens.
citizen of India. That's not
They're
true.
not.
Yes, they are. The parents are Indian citizens, and that's how it works in India, is that the citizenship goes to the parents. So that's the point, is that they can go back to their own country, and they can go live in India.
So the children should be deported as soon as they're born here.
Yes, with their parents, absolutely.
You don't think that we should give them? We shouldn't encourage them to become productive members of
No.
American society?
No.
Do you believe in the American dream?
Yes, of course, for American citizens, not for every person around the planet.
I agree. I think we all agree.
Yes, it's not our job to open up our borders to every sad story around the planet.
Exactly, the adults, but the children did not choose to cross the border. They did not choose to come here.
Okay.
They have been placed here.
Exactly, so don't punish them by separating the mom and dad. They can all go back to their country of origin. It's very simple.
But that's not the law. That's not how it's been. Do you think that would be productive for American society?
Hold on, that's the interpretation of the 14th Amendment. We're talking about two different things. We're talking about birthright citizenship, and then we're talking about kids that are crossed when they're already born. The point being is this, and President Trump's executive order is phenomenal. It goes back to this very basic question. What does it mean to be a citizen? And we're throwing around citizenship like frisbees every day. You're a citizen, you're a citizen, you're a citizen. And it dilutes the meaning of the citizen, of what it means to be a U.S. citizen. We need to bring it back to actually say, hey, you have to earn your citizenship. You are not given your citizenship.
So a child doesn't choose to be born between someone who comes here illegally and someone who is already a citizen. That person did not choose that. There's no accountability.
Yes, and there's
in that
kids
action.
in Namibia that didn't choose to be born in Namibia.
Exactly.
That's not our
But
concern
that's the
to
great
import
thing
them.
about America is that by being here, you offer them the extension for the
See,
opportunities.
I
that are
disagree.
associated
I
with
think
American
that
citizenship.
I think on the surface it's a great thing about America. I think it's us having generosity being turned into compromising our values used against us. At times, generosity can turn into an overindulgence. You could become too generous, where you are borrowing money that you don't have. We're doing that. Where you're giving citizenship where it dilutes. Yes, we are a generous nation, and our virtues have become our vices.
What does it dilute? What does a child being born here having birthright?
You know what it
What does
dilutes?
that take away from us?
It first of all,
They pay taxes.
First of all, number one, it dilutes a lot.
What does it dilute?
Can I get to it? Dilutes a lot. Number one, it dilutes legal immigrants that are full adults that had to apply to come
And
here.
I agree. So we should stop illegal immigration.
Well,
but
no,
there will
legal.
always be
I
some.
said legal
I
immigration.
agree.
Right. Number two is that I actually want the idea of being a U.S. citizen, that you are here or born here because your parents did something to allow you to be here. Not just that you got on a nonstop flight from Seoul, South Korea, and you happen to fall and your water breaks and you're suddenly a U.S. citizen. It devalues the entire meaning of what it means. Everybody here has a unique story of what your parents did for allow you to live in this country. That's called a social compact. Some of you guys, your parents came here, your ancestors came here in the 1700s. Some of them came here in the early 1900s. But if all of a sudden you can gain entry and cut in line, it dilutes the sacrifices primarily of the greatest generation from World War II that allowed us to live here, and it is an insult to them to say that we can live in a free society. I want to get to the next question. Thank you very much.
So, Charlie, earlier this year, while doing your show with Michael Knowles, you labeled Pope Francis as a Marxist. Many Catholics, including myself, not only found your claim to be very disrespectful, but also baseless. As you know, Marxism is a revolutionary ideology. It promotes class warfare, economic collectivism, and atheism. And in contrast, Francis advocates for social unity. He's in favor of a market economy, albeit a regulated one, but his views are like JP2's. And he also advocates for the integration of Catholic social teaching into society. And while he is left-leaning on immigration and climate change, he also opposes abortion, gender ideology, and gay marriage, putting him directly at odds with Marxist political theory. And then additionally, in 2022, he explicitly stated that Catholicism and Marxism are incompatible. Given this, will you recant your claim that Pope Francis is a Marxist? And if you will not, please explain why you still believe that Pope Francis
No, I don't want
is
to
a
spend too much
Marxist.
time on this. Again, it's not me. I mean, Taylor Marshall and many other top Catholics have talked about his. You don't.
Well, Taylor Marshall, he's a set of a contest. I don't
even know what that means.
He doesn't
here's the
believe-
point.
yeah.
I'm not going to go debate the Catholic thing very well. All I know is this: I know that he comes from liberation theology. You agree?
I would say he has been influenced by it, but he's not a liberation theologian. He's only been.
Yeah, so this is where I don't want to spend the whole. I don't think this is a top concern for the audience. I'm not going to recant because I don't have to. I'm not a Catholic.
Yeah, I know.
So, and I don't really care if you were offended, right? Because I'm not a Catholic. So,
Yeah,
and I
but-
love Catholics, and I actually defend Catholicism every day, and I, meet with fellow, priests in my area, and I love them. They're actually agreed with me when I said the Marxist thing. You will know more about it than I will. I'm just going to point you to other Catholic thinkers that have made that accusation. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I get a hat?
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
So my question is, I've seen a lot of things that Donald Trump has said on X and just everywhere. He keeps saying that people are illegally boycotting Tesla, and I've been looking for answers, but I haven't really.
Well, they're
seen anything,
firebombing.
So, okay.
So they're like smashing windows, putting in Molotov cocktails, things like that.
Okay, so he's not talking about like.
No, not boycotting.
Okay.
Actually smashing the windows and
Okay,
stuff.
cool. I also have a card to,
All right.
for to.
You can give it to one of them.
Okay. Can I also have a signed hat by
Yes,
you? If that's okay.
absolutely.
Hi. So I'm not technically. I don't go to UT, and I'm not the legal age to vote yet. And my parents are divorced, and both of my parents have separate political views. My mom's conservative, and my dad's a liberal. And my mom is always kind of pushing me to bring politics into my life. And I was wondering, A, should I care? And if I should, why? And which parent should I lean more towards?
Got it. So did you say mom's liberal?
Mom's conservative.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's opposite I would have thought. Okay, so I see you have a shirt here that says, whom shall I send? Here I am, right?
Yes.
Which I love. That is the Hebrew word Hineni, which appears many times throughout the scriptures. When Abraham, the binding of Isaac, Moses at the burning bush, the call of Isaiah, the call of Samuel. Every believer here in the audience, by the way, the most important thing is to bring Jesus into your life. Let me just make sure I say that. Most important thing. It's way more important than politics. It's the most important thing.
Amen.
And so I encourage every believer out here to learn what that word Hineni means. It means, Lord, use me, send me. And I could tell you're probably going through a trial right now because your parents are separate and it's not easy. So the scriptures are very clear about this. Christianity has a heavy emphasis on honoring your parents. Now, to contrast that with the prior questioner, I don't think she's doing a good job of honoring her parents because she's accusing them of being in a cult.
Yeah.
Even, this is very important, everybody, even if your parents share values and views and a worldview that you do not have, you are biblically obligated to honor them, which means to spend time with them and to love on them and to go visit them. Even if they are wearing a Black Lives Matter and in this home that we have no hate and trans lives, you still go and spend time with your parents. Because if you are incapable, in this case, of honoring your earthly father, you will never honor your heavenly father. And it's very clear in the Ten Commandments, and then I'll get down to the specific advice. In the Ten Commandments, it is the only commandment, honor your mother and father so that you may live long in the land of which you are in. It is the only commandment that deals with a promise and your country. You will cease to have a strong country, America, if we do not have kids honoring their parents. Everyone out there, every day, you should call your parents on a weekly basis. I know college exists a lot of the times to separate children from the parents. They want to try to separate you from your upbringing. Your parents aren't cool, they don't understand you, they don't share your values. The closer that you stay with your parents, even though you have disagreements, the better you will be and your nation will be. Now, to your personal advice, find out what you believe and why you believe it. If a parent ever tells you to do something that is sinful or goes against God, that is a violation of what it means to honor them. It doesn't mean you have to blindly obey them, but you must honor them, which really means to treat them heavily, basically to treat that with a lot of weight. I would instead be close to both of them. It's a very difficult situation. You're going to grow up a lot quicker because of it, and come to your own independent political views and let them be known to each appropriate parent.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard. So how would I express the different views to, say, my mom or my dad?
Well, your view should be the same regardless of who you're talking to. So I think you're not old enough yet to vote, so you're still searching. So instead, I wouldn't even take strong political views. I would say, Mom and Dad, I don't want to talk politics. I just want to talk the Bible. It's not a political thing. It's a biblical thing. That would be my advice to you. So every time it comes up, like, oh, you should support Trump. Oh, you should hate Trump. Say, you know what? Can we just talk things from Scripture? Always go back to fundamental Scripture when you're talking to your parents. And when you do that, it can be very disarming. And then you both have something to appeal to. You have a greater truth that then you're able to look at, appeal to, and hopefully, get you through this difficult chapter. God bless you. You want a hat?
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you.